Well, we heard a little bit from my next guest in Deanna's report. Rachel Chernis-Lynn joins me now from Toronto. She's a trustee and chair of the Toronto District School Board. Thanks for joining me. Tell me a little bit about why the TDSB decided to sue these social media giants.
Well, thank you for having me. You know, we have seen a huge change in our students over the last several years with the rise of social media, and in particular with particular apps that students have been using. And so what we've learned is that these social media products have been designed intentionally, knowingly, to create addictive behaviors in students. And that's causing tremendous harm to our young people. And it's playing out in very negative ways in our classrooms. And we are looking to make some change around that.
Okay, so talk to me a bit about these effects that you say that you're seeing with students. What specifically are you talking about in terms of what you're seeing in the classroom?
So we're seeing students who are having trouble concentrating, having trouble focusing. We're seeing behavioral changes, aggressive behavior among students. We're also seeing a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental health and well-being challenges among students. And we're also seeing social withdrawal, which is very concerning amongst our population of young people.
The lawsuit says that school boards have had to bring in staff and resources to mitigate significant impacts of these platforms on students. I wonder if you can talk to me about the effect on staff.
Well, you know, when a teacher prepares a lesson plan, they have curriculum that they need to ensure students get in that lesson time. And what they're finding is that they're having to adjust lesson plans and manage all of these different challenges that I've talked about in the classroom. And it's really impeding the ability to deliver that curriculum, the ability to support students because the needs have become so great. And it's getting in the way of learning, and they're extremely concerned. It's something we hear from teachers about so often, and we also hear concerns from parents too.
There's been talk that these lawsuits will get held up in the legal system, with action taking years to achieve. So what are you really hoping to achieve here?
We're looking for the social media companies who have purposely and knowingly created apps that harm children. We're looking for them to take some responsibility for that and to be held accountable for that, not just through compensation to school boards who have had to outlay enormous costs in terms of resources for students, not just now, not just in the present, not just in the past few years, but also well into the future. But on top of that, we're looking for social media companies to fix the problem. We need them to change these apps to ensure that they are safe for children. We do not want to continue seeing children and young people being harmed.
Say you do win here. Are you looking for an admission of guilt or financial reparations?
Well, we're certainly looking for compensation because we know there is significant need amongst students, and we're looking for these companies to be held accountable for that. But we're also looking for them to change their platforms. We need to make sure that that products that are marketed to kids do not do harm to kids. We need to make sure that they are creating products that are safer for children and not exposing kids to further harm knowing.
Where would the money go if you do win?
So if we do win, and that will be for the courts to decide, of course, we would look to put that directly back into students, resources for students, because that's what this is really about. This is about the academic success, the academic well-being of students. And when students are healthy and ready to learn, the possibilities are endless. But when we look at, when we look at the harm that's being done to kids and the problems that are being created by these social media platforms for students, it's creating so much harm that we are concerned about the learning of our kids. And we want to make sure that they can grow and develop to the best of their potential.
As I said, this legal process could take some time. So in the interim, what other actions is the Toronto District School Board and the other boards involved here taking to protect students from the harms of social media?
Well, as you probably are aware, the TDSB has been talking significantly about cell phone use, personal mobile use in schools. We're working on a new policy directed to that, but this is a much bigger problem that goes far beyond that. Kids are rolling out of bed and scrolling TikTok first thing in the morning. Same thing after school. We know from stats that have been collected by CAMH, for example, that teenagers and young people are spending upwards of 5 hours a day on social media and often more. We also know from Instagram, they did a poll where they found almost 22% of students aged 13 to 15 had experienced bullying within the last 7 days. That's once a week. We all should be concerned about the well-being of our young people.
The last question, I'm going to let you go here for time, but I'm just wondering why you feel this is the role of school boards, why it's a responsibility that school boards should take this action.
Well, first of all, school boards are dealing with the repercussions of what social media and tech companies have created with these apps that intentionally affect young people in very harmful ways. We're dealing with it in the classrooms. We're dealing with it in our school cultures, in our classrooms each and every day. And also remember that the school board is elected to ensure the well-being and academic success of our young people. That is our responsibility. So for us to stay silent any longer would be unconscionable.
Rachel, got to leave it there for tonight. That is Rachel Chernus-Lynn, a trustee and chair of the Toronto District School Board.